Why you still high like this?
I got your fluffy sweater.
Why can't you be yourself, my friend?
Yeah, it's got the major fluff. The major fluff, but there's no fluff in this show, y'all. Welcome back to Ancient Wisdom. Episode 60. Can you believe it?
I can.
Really, episode 60.
No, my man.
My God, my spirits. Last time you saw us, last time on Ancient Wisdom, we did, what was it? President's Trump Project. No, it wasn't 2025. He disavowed that. Mm-hmm. It was Agenda 47, because he's the, 47th president. Clever.
Very clever.
And today, I've been gone for 3 weeks, so we're going to get caught up on what we missed, just for historical purposes, if nothing else. Let this be a record of our interpretation of what's been going on, because it's weird. There's a lot of news. You take one vacation and you miss the world. But also, we got a word of the day: larcenous. Adjective, having the character of or constituting larceny. That's gonna come in handy later. But first, some fun stuff. Ladies, this one's for you. Why is he not texting you back?
Do you want to know why he's not texting you right now?
So this next one I found is poor ladies. This next one I found is very interesting. It's the Japanese take on American politics.
Oh, here we go.
What do you guys think about this? Right off the bat, look at the conservative politician, suit and tie, shaking the woman. Then you look at the left, you're like, wait, who's the politician? It's the woman.
Ah, I see.
The woman with the baseball cap on.
Oh, that's the
That's the politician.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So then bringing it down on the left, we got NBA, we got city living, we got rap music, sushi for some reason, Starbucks, electric cars,
New York Times.
New York Times,
Apple computers.
and gay shit.
Apple and gay.
And then on the conservative, what was that? KFC, baseball, country, a house.
KFC is conservative?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
I guess.
Goes back.
Is that what it says, right? Is that KFC fried chicken
I
or
guess,
something?
yeah.
Wow, okay. In Japan, KFC is like very high end. They do it for Christmas. Have you guys heard about this?
I have, yes.
Yeah, it's like a Christmas tradition in Japan. Everyone goes to KFC.
That's kind of cool.
It's just a thing they do,
like
yeah.
that.
Trucks, too.
I think they got the baseball and basketball thing right.
Yeah,
I think
say
because
so.
old guys like baseball and like...
I'd say so. And this is just their view, right? Oh, church instead of gay stuff, so that's cool.
The conservatives only use non-Mac.
Is that what it
computers?
is?
Yeah,
Oh,
just
see,
like
I
an
didn't catch
HP
that.
laptop.
One's
versus
Mac
Apple.
and one's whatever,
Just
Windows.
anything else.
Well, listen. I was getting some bitches over the weekend. Ooh. And they was fine. And you'd think that Trump was acting exactly like me. This big. You want this guy? Nah. I'm gonna get you later, girl. Speaking of Trump, you guys may not have seen this, but the real Trump assassination footage has been leaked.
Take a look at what happened.
Oh my God. The future is so crazy.
He escaped, dog.
So, why do Americans want guns? One word. What do you guys think the word is? By the way, look at the author.
I'm just going to cut it right there. Nice. All right. Give me that iPad and let's get into the show. Like I said, y'all, we're getting into the history of what's been going on in July 2024. So let's talk about it. History 2024, ancient wisdom. What's gonna happen? What's the past? What's the future gonna be like today and then? So correct me if I'm wrong, but what's the first thing? What was the catalyst to all this? I want to say it was the big debate between who? Trump and Byron. Now, y'all may remember that Biden said anytime, any place, and then he just like happened to throw in like a ton of non-negotiable rules, like
stipulations, and basically
like,
anti-debate tactics.
Yeah, seriously, there's gonna be no audience. Like, I'm gonna hire the dudes. It's gonna be at my night. I'm gonna take drugs. Trump, this is proof that Trump's fake. He keeps like, I'm gonna ask for a drug test for Joe Biden. That makes the boomers laugh. But has he ever done that? Where's the results? He said that like 3 times. He said he's going to lock him up. But I digress. What'd you guys think? Did you see it?
I watched it.
The debate?
Yeah, the debate. It all started at the debate. Would you agree?
I think so.
That's when this sort of historical time period.
It was the beginning of the end.
The beginning of the end. I like it. Exactly.
It's when America watched their grandpa not be able to remember their name.
Yeah, that's man. The beginning
Like
of
grandpa,
the
but it's
the
me.
sad truth. It's
Yeah.
me. What?
And they were like, then everyone
America?
realized.
Who? Yeah.
Yep.
Realize
That's
your
what
grandpa's lost it.
Yep. Any hot takes? Any takes from that? Did you feel any sort of way? Poach says Biden was ass. That's what is that what I'm hearing? Is what I hear you saying?
It's the moment that everybody realized that, like, oh man, there's trouble for the Democratic Party.
Okay, I
Because
like
before
it.
that, he was pitching ball. He's saying I could play ball.
I can play ball,
But
Jack.
he showed up to the plate, man, and he just like
Just watch me, he
yeah,
says.
it was all strikes. It was
Yeah,
all
they
strikes.
they actually believed up until that point that he was of sound mind and was all there.
What I really think happened is
Really?
everybody realized that they've been lied to.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was like, I trust Biden. I trust what they're saying. And then he came up and started talking, and it was just like, no, you guys have been messing with us the entire time. This guy can't really even talk.
He can't do nothing.
Like, he just can't talk.
Now that's interesting. If there's nothing else, I'll give my big take on it because maybe it's not popular. Maybe no one else has this take that I've heard of on the internet so far. But they all said, here was the take, all right? Let me know if you guys felt this. Trump didn't do amazing, but Biden did much, much worse. That's the general take.
Agree.
Are we in agreement? Mm-hmm. I gotta say, I didn't agree with that at all. I thought Biden blew Trump out of the water.
Really?
I thought Biden won by a landslide. No one had this take yet. No
Do
one had this
tell.
take. Completely original, ancient wisdom. You're hearing it first. I says, I'm watching the whole thing, and I tried to really just think for myself, my own opinions. I'm like, oh man, Biden's kind of killing it. He only had a couple gaffes, one really big one, but that's Biden. No big deal. It's Biden. Everybody knows Biden. So why is it to my surprise that everyone say, oh my God, Biden? They wake up in the morning and every single Democrat is thrown in the towel. Every single Democrat is now realizing that Biden is incompetent and old and dementia-ridden.
Man, I think I know where you're going
A
with
drop
this.
of a hat. It just happens like that. All of a sudden. Am I right? What are you feeling about this?
I think
Before I continue.
maybe where you're going with this is that they needed to give Biden an out, so they let Trump just like wipe the floor
Oh,
with
that's
Biden so that they
interesting.
could get a nominee that the people don't actually vote for, that they
Oh,
want.
was this the moment
That's
they could do the
interesting,
switcheroo? Was this the moment that the switcheroo could happen?
Right. Very interesting. Interesting.
And it looks like it could be construed that Trump looks like a bully to Biden. Maybe Trump, the better position was to never debate him in the first place.
Yeah, not as bad as he bullied Biden in 2020, though.
True.
Because if you guys remember the 2020, I know it was a long time ago, but yet again, unpopular take. I thought Trump wiped the floor. I thought Biden should have went back to nursery school and sucked on a little freeze pop and got sent to his bedtime. I thought it was great. But then everybody I talked to after was like, Trump was a little mean, don't you think? Like, that's not very presidential. Everyone I talked to, even
that's right.
conservative people, like he was just like a little unpresidential. So I'm at a loss here when I have known that Joe Biden has been retarded for years and years, even before 2020. I've known this. But you're telling me, media, that you didn't know this. You've been in the dark until debate night 2024. And then all of a sudden, everybody, without exception, is just in agreement. Oh, you should have seen him next. Oh, Biden, he didn't do good, man. And it's hard to explain my point, but it's just like, but let me try, right? For Biden being as retarded as he is, I thought he did great. And for Trump being a bully that I liked in 2020, I thought he did terrible. I thought Biden wiped the floor with what I know about the candidates. Is that making sense? From what I know about Biden, that was par for the course. He was drugged out and he was saying his points and he only had a few gaffes. So the media is telling me that he did bad? What are you talking about? He's always been bad. He's always been retarded. And one day, so this is the conspiracy theory. So why is it that you could say anything about Trump assassination attempt? You could say anything about who's in charge, who's really putting down the money, why Trump picked his VP, who's in charge of the country, who's getting the money, why people aren't acting as they are. You could make any conspiracy theory in the book, and that's all it is. It's a conspiracy theory at this point because nothing's proven. Mm-hmm. But the one thing that I know for sure that we could take as fact is that day the word came down from up above. The order was given from up above that Biden is not our candidate anymore.
It was decided.
It was decided. He did fine, if not better, than he has normally been in his speeches. But what is it that people don't pay attention? What is it that...
I think you just hit it.
Boom.
People don't pay attention. I think it's because they expected what the news was telling them, and no one was really listening to the words.
Yeah.
Because you know why? Because when Trump talks, everyone hears brr, 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 brr. They hear just the noise, you know, or I should brr, 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 whatever Trump accent, right? They just hear the noise. They already remember. It's like they have a mental image of Trump ingrained from 4 years ago.
Right.
But Biden has been hidden.
Yeah.
They've been hiding
purposefully,
him. They've been hiding him, and they have been saying he is what we say he is.
Boom.
And they haven't been showing him. He's been, you know, the guy in the basement or the guy backstage, right?
Yes.
But Trump is always out there talking. People are like, okay, I get what Trump is. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand what Trump is. The thing about Biden is people painted an image of him. Biden didn't display himself. There was an image painted of him, and he could not live up to that image. Trump was totally able to live up to his image.
Perfect.
You know, because there was a water level, there was a watermark, and Trump is just like, you know, I'm just going to stick with the watermark. I'm not going to make waves.
And dare I take it to the next level and say it's almost the opposite for Trump. Whereas Trump's bombastic and loud, Trump was almost pretty presidential.
He let it happen. He let it happen so that Biden had to prove himself.
Watch Joe just destroy himself.
Yeah, that was his strategy.
He was so laid back. Yeah. And from my perspective, that's not good. That's not the Trump that I want. Mm-hmm. But from the public's perspective, that's great. So the conspiracies begin. Because we have two sides. This is the beginning of the conspiracies. Two sides. Why did people just realize that Joe was retarded? In one night, he was no different. Seriously, no different than he's ever been. But on the other side, Trump was way different than he's always been. Very strange. So keep that in mind moving forward, because the next bullet point I have in this review, the next big historical moment that happened this month, of course, is the Trump headshot. I think the next thing to happen a week or two later was the big Trump headshot. What do you guys make of this?
Now I'm not sure anymore because
we're only starting. We're just getting into it. I heard some crazy stuff like Trump had a razor in his sleeve and he just cut his ear. Oh! Oh my God, they got me!
I see all these pictures of him fist pumping in front of the American flag. I was like 2 hours late to it. Like they had all the pictures on
Right,
social
the
media and
photo-
everything.
iconic
Yeah, so
photos
that's
were
why I
already
thought it was
posted.
AI. I was like, this is edited. Like he's. It looked like it was made to be fake because he's like
Yeah.
fist pumping in front of an American flag, surrounded by FBI
With the
agents.
perfect pictures.
With
That's
the-
what everyone
yeah,
was saying
the
too. How do you get so
perfect
many
thing.
iconic photos?
Yeah. It was like too good. It was like
Not to
too
mention,
good. Yeah.
what kind of photographer's like, oh my God, the president's dying. Wait, let me get the American flag in there real quick. Okay, so disbelief.
Yeah, disbelief was my first thing. Just complete, utter disbelief.
Hell yeah.
I did believe it, but my first impression was that I wasn't surprised
Yeah.
because I feel like this guy is pretty clearly hated. But I also thought that there's no way this guy could die. Just the moment in time we're in and the peril of the country and politics and everything's going to hell. It just doesn't seem like it's right for him to die right now.
So first impressions, was it a retarded lunatic 20-year-old? Or was it a foreign nation? Was it the CIA? Any thoughts?
I'm gonna say too much Reddit. Just too much reading the comments.
Oh, you think he read the comments too much?
He read the
became
comments
radicalized
all day. He read the comments
and just did it himself.
That was my
because
first
he
thought.
wanted to.
The first thought, dude. I even
Probably
told my
to get some
brother.
bitches.
I was like, Reddit did this.
He would have got so much poon in jail.
I know, right? From all the liberals and
Plus, he was a transgender. Oh my God. I'm just
Was
thinking
he?
about this now. He was a registered Republican, so they hate him about that.
Excuse me, were they?
But yeah, there you go. Right. The more recent pictures, because they always show the picture from when he was 16. The more recent pictures, he's looking mad transgender.
Right.
I think he was planning on getting arrested, going to a transgender prison, and getting a ton of poon for killing Trump. That's my new theory.
well, I'm not so
Do they
sure.
have those prisons?
Oh, they do.
Really?
They most certainly do. All you have to say is I'm a girl, and you go to girl prison.
Good strategy.
Good
If
strategy.
all is lost, you already changed.
Just
your
my
gender.
theory. I'm changing it up now.
I think they haven't. I think the deep state hasn't changed their strategy much since the JFK assassination.
Oh, you think it was CIA?
Yeah, I think they need a fall guy, someone that no one knows, no one cares about,
Right.
and they know no one really cares about the trans people.
Right.
They needed a fall guy, but they had a real professional guy who was behind the scenes who you will never know, who was going to make the real shot because it looked like it was probably going to go right through the dome until Trump turned his head. And they said, oh, it was that guy, that transgender that nobody knows. So we got him.
So that's deep. Did you guys see that he was in a BlackRock commercial?
The shooter?
I heard of that.
The shooter.
Didn't see, though.
He's
No.
in a BlackRock commercial, and I even heard too. I haven't seen it myself, but there's a video of like the BlackRock CEO like walking with him down the hallway, and like his arm around him. I still have to look into that, but that's what I heard anyway.
I can't not believe it.
Weird stuff.
There's a lot of weird stuff.
Weird stuff out here.
The
All right.
last thing I heard about him was that. Sorry, Mitch. The last thing I heard about him was that he was actually looking up details of the JFK assassination, like
Wow.
24 hours before he did that.
That's pretty trippy too.
which
What
made
are
me
they
even
gonna do to me.
which made me even think like how deep
Maybe I'll escape.
how deep like the CIA and stuff can look into your posts. Like they know exactly when you looked something up. But I guess that's no
freaking
surprise to anybody.
weird, dude.
It has to be someone that's gonna die because anyone who is willing to do that and is intelligent knows that they're gonna die.
Yeah.
I did hear that the building that he was on was a BlackRock building, though.
Oh yes, that is true.
That I did hear.
Well,
Yeah,
BlackRock
but then-
owns everything, so
Yeah,
everything's a BlackRock.
yeah. I guess then I would counter
That
that
was-
with BlackRock owns everything anyway. So the chances are he was on
on BlackRock property.
By proxy from a loan or something.
All right, so let's move on. Water tower. Did you see that? There's a suspicious figure on top of the water tower. And may I say, first of all, I saw the 3D renderings of the space, and like the building that he shot him from was the only building in the whole fucking.
They had one job, right?
There was one building. I'm thinking when I saw it for a couple days, I'm like, oh, there's tons of buildings all over. There's one building. They couldn't secure that one building. And I guess the Secret Service is in charge and they gave it to local PD, but everybody knew about it. They knew about him an hour before. They knew he was suspicious. They kicked him out. They lost him. He had a rangefinder to see, like, what? Dude.
I didn't see the water tower, but I saw the videos you guys sent me. I think Evan sent me where the SWAT team is like telling the FBI like, there's someone here. And the FBI is like, well, did you guys find him? Like, where is he? Like, did you get him? It's like the SWAT team was telling the FBI, and the FBI was like, is he under restraints? Like the FBI guy was like really confused.
Yeah, they totally knew about him, dude. Local PD, one of the PD boosted his other PD up on the roof. It goes like this. He sees a guy with the gun. He turns it to his face, and he's like, oh! He jumps down to save his own life. He gets on the tactical channel, which is the tactical channel for the whole event, and is like, oh, there's a guy who tried to kill me up here. He's got a gun. And nobody did anything. Like, it gets weirder and weirder, man. What the hell is going on?
And the fact that these police and I guess Secret Service know that they have body cams now.
Yeah.
I feel like if they knew about it, there had to be some kind of acting involved because they knew the films would be released later or something. Yeah.
So there's a lot of Secret Service lies, and the bitch finally got kicked off.
Pressured into stepping down.
Yeah, finally, because she wasn't going to at first, but there's just lie after lie after lie. How about slanted roof? Did you guys hear about slanted roof?
I heard that it was unsafe.
But I've heard that.
It was unsafe to put Secret Service on the slanted roof.
So they're like, we can't put a Secret Service agent on that
They might
roof.
fall. They might
It's
slip.
ridiculous. They
Yeah.
might slip. It's
Yeah.
dangerous.
They might have
That's what
the-
we were talking about, building like real buildings again. It takes 10 years. What dudes in the OG took 1 year to build because there's all these protocol. Are you kidding me? And then come to find out, there's like no slant. It's like 1 degree.
The traction on their shoes can't handle that.
Yeah, get out of
Just
town.
rained.
And then there was another one where the sniper, they said the angle looking down, it was so slanted that you couldn't see over the slant. And then some guy just went up there with a camera, and you could see the entire place easily. They saw him the whole time. It was the one building in a big white building, and some fucking guy, dude. It gets weirder and weirder. And then of course, like the magic photo of the bullet that was caught flying by, weird stuff. Evan was talking about before. Evan, did you see the photo where you could see the bullet whizzing by?
Yes, I saw it.
Yeah,
I thought it was just a lucky shot.
Before that you need a hyper. What is it?
You need a frame rate. I was hearing photographers' analysis, and you need a frame rate of 1/8,000th.
Yeah,
Whatever that means, whatever the unit
It's like
of
a phone
measurement
camera
is.
could never take that picture.
Yeah, but it's also a setting that's specifically set to cameras only to capture bullets.
Yeah.
That frame rate is only for capturing bullets. Otherwise, if you're just taking photos like regular photographer, that's not a setting that you typically use.
And it was the same guy who took the photo of the George W. Bush whispering in the ear 9/11 photo.
Yeah, it's like, and he's like,
weird
oh,
stuff
what?
like
The
that.
buildings
Wait,
went
what?
down?
The
Yeah,
same
you
guy.
remember that
Doug
photo,
Hill.
that famous photo where someone's whispering into George Bush's ear
The
on
same
9/11?
guy. Same photographer.
It was the same photographer.
Oh man, it
Weird
gets
stuff.
deeper and deeper.
Yeah, it gets deeper and deeper.
Keep
dude,
going,
the more you
Mitch.
look. Yeah, keep going, Mitch. You want to roll, motherfucker. So check this out. So I gotta say, in my own opinion, could always be wrong, that feels like a little bit of a BlackRock thing where it's like, I think if I was a rich photographer who took famous George Bush photos, I would just have that setting on 24/7.
Just
You know,
waiting for
I'd have
it.
the hugest memory card. I've had 100 memory cards stuffed in, and I just have that setting on at all times so that if anything were to happen anytime forever, I would have captured it, and I could choose the best still frame possible.
Okay, that's
you know
a
what I mean?
valid explanation.
Right.
Yep.
That's me, where
We're
it's
not
like,
conspiracy
okay, it's a
theorists.
little, right. To push the conspiracy aside a little bit, but that could totally be true too.
Yeah, I agree
I'm
with
open
you.
to it all.
If it's your job to only take pictures
Right.
all the time, like when people are saying,
you
like,
would have the best quality camera,
Yeah,
best equipment.
I don't think it's that unlikely to capture a photo since there's probably hundreds of photographers taken. So
Yeah.
one person might have gotten the shot. If they're literally just pressing the button all the time,
Yeah.
you hear the clicks in press conferences. So it's not the most unlikely thing.
It's not insane, but getting deeper into it, let me ask you guys a crazy question. The first thing I heard, and maybe I believed it, maybe I still do. You never know in this world. You never know. Belief. What is belief? You're just making a choice. They said, God. I even seen some videos, some cartoons of Hitler moving the bullet this month. Stopping Ghost of Hitler moving it. That God or a guardian angel intervened to move the bullet, and also Trump moved his head like a little
Just
bit
like
like
touch his
this.
chin.
But then I got to thinking, you gotta keep an open mind in this world. What if it wasn't God? But what if CIA? What if the shot wasn't meant to kill Trump? What if they missed on purpose to send a message? Hey, Trump, I own you.
Oh.
The more you keep talking, the more you keep doing these rallies, I don't want to kill you. No. Because you're more valuable to me alive. I just want you to enact my policies.
Oh.
So you nick the ear a little bit.
To show him how easy it is.
How easy it would
if
be
they
to kill
wanted
him.
to.
You got a bunch of stupid Secret Service. Money could buy every single one of them if need be. I got rangefinders into there. I got retarded kids in BlackRock commercials. I could own you because I do own you, which might give credence to Trump being a little quieter these days on the deep state stuff. Because the big, we'll get into it soon with the RNC, but he's been really quiet about everything ever since he lost in 2020. Maybe that was the first warning shot, quote unquote. Hey, we could even rig the election. Are you going to play ball or are you not going to play ball? No more talking about deep state. No more talking about special interests. No more talking about donors. No more talking about draining the swamp. You get to do a few things. You get to drill. Sure, I'll give you drill because conservatives love drilling. And you get to limit immigration and we'll give you the wall. That's it. Everything else you shut up about, that's issue number 1 and issue number 2 for voters on all the polls.
It's not very far-fetched, man. It's just because Trump's a billionaire, he's got all this money, and you're the leader of the free world. There's a lot of other leaders of the free world, too, that I think can counteract the power of the president.
Yeah.
It's set up that way.
Yep.
The founding fathers set it up that way, where the president can't be a king.
Yeah.
He can't really do everything he wants.
Yeah, barely
There's checks and
anything
balances.
these days. Yeah.
And now there's even more checks and balances because the system was made to have checks and balances. So you got other checks and balances checking your balances.
Yeah, checking your balance, baby. And hopefully you're not standing on a sloped roof.
If it was
Yeah.
supposed to be a warning, I'm amazed they made the shot.
Yeah.
I'm amazed that they hit a person's ear and didn't kill him.
And here's the thing you also got to take with a grain of salt is that if you're going to get into conspiracies at all, you got to kind of go all out with conspiracies, am I right? Like,
Yep.
maybe they got technology that we don't know about. Maybe they
Oh,
got...
the homing bullet.
Yeah, dude. Dude, I just recently saw, I didn't know. You know all this talk you guys ever heard about? Oh, the CIA poison frozen dart gun. They have little, like, ice picks that go into you. The evidence melts and you get poison in your body. There's no evidence.
Wow. So I have to say the homing bullet does exist.
There you go.
There
Boom.
are bullets that can
And
whip,
dog, I
whip
just
around
realized
corners.
too, not to mention, so I didn't know that, but maybe you didn't know this, which is that they already brought the CIA poison dart gun to Congress in the 1970s.
They were like, look at this thing.
There's video of it. They showed it off. They put it on the desk. Oh, don't point that at me, the guy said. They put it on the desk. He said, this is the one.
And not to mention, even in Breaking Bad, wasn't there some kind of substance that like poisoned you on skin-to-skin contact or something like that?
Oh, yeah, exactly. I forget what it's called.
The
but they did
technologies
same
are
thing.
out there. It's like if we could...
Yeah. Because you got to go all out. And here's the thing, right? Like, the UFOs is always the big one, right? Because at this point in time, everyone agrees, the agencies, everyone says, like, there's something going on. That's like the fact that we know right now. There's something going on. Is it Russia? Is it China? Is it USA? Some black ops programs we don't know about? Or is it aliens? You got to pick. But there's something going on. We just don't know which.
Demons and angels?
Demons and right, perfect. Demons and angels, exactly. Depending on your point of view, everyone has their own take on this thing. But we all can agree now that it's not a conspiracy, that something is happening. Getting into our third big event of July 2024 is the RNC, the Republican National Convention. And I'll say right off the bat, I thought it was hilarious that Trump showed up with all 6'5" white giant men surrounding him in Secret Service. No more of these shitty fat women fumbling with their guns.
But you weren't surprised.
I was not surprised. I bet Trump
But you
fucking
laughed.
laid it down. He was like, no more goddamn women. No more fat, untrained local PD. I don't give a shit. I want big dudes. They got to be white, and they got to be able to bench
Gotta
press
be
me.
huge. Must be huge.
They got to be huge. And, of course, the big news from the RNC is that Trump chooses J.D. Vance. And I'll put it on the record that a few weeks ago, Sabbath, I don't know if you guys remember, but I said J.D. Vance is going to be the VP. I called it in Poge's basement. I said, J.D. Vance will be the VP because he's tight with Israel.
Look
Any
what
thoughts
happened.
on VP? Do you guys know him? Did you guys hear about him before this?
No clue.
No clue.
No clue who he was, to be honest.
He just seems like another one of those guys that has a confined limit to how much he could say. He's all about, like we've said, owning the libs and saying like women shouldn't be in the workforce and they should be having kids and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like
he's
don't
going
be an
hard with
old
that.
cat lady kind of thing.
JD. Oh yeah, that was a weird thing he said.
Yeah.
What did he say?
It was like what you said, the cat lady stuff.
Yeah, don't be an old cat lady. I'm like, that's another one of those things that I think can appeal to the boomer crowd.
Very boomer.
Yeah.
Who have that opinion of what America used to be. But it just seems like we're beyond that. It's like that's obvious.
I had a weird take on that as well because you might remember, forget who said it, for every Karen we lose on the right side, we get an Enrique and a Jamal. You guys hear that?
No, I didn't.
And some people on the right now
These
are
analogies are ridiculous.
yeah, dude,
man.
people are wild right now. It's something else.
It's crazy.
And people on the right, maybe even the far right, are saying like, what's the deal? Like the demographics of the states you're trying to win over are 80% white. Like, what are you doing? And then I had a take nobody had, which is that like, oh, but you're getting rid of Karens to replaced by Enrique's and Jamal's. But what are Karens like?
Enrique's and Jamal's.
Boom. Couldn't have said it better myself. Couldn't have said it better. Dog, I think this is what we're neglecting. To get the Karens back that we're losing, we have to appeal to the Karens and Jamals. Because the Karens love, Enrique's and Jamal's better than anything else. They love being sweet and fake nice.
Yeah, they don't like Steve.
Yeah, they do not like Steve. If you're going to appeal to Steve, you lost the Karen. You have been appealing to Steve. That's why you lost Karen. How do we get Karen back? By appealing to Jamal and Enrique.
I think you're right. I think I think Trump is gaining a lot of traction amongst the Karens because I'm still seeing comments all over the place, even today, that like, I voted for Biden and like Obama, but this time I'm voting Trump. I'm like, what took you so long? Is this really working?
It's really weird. Oh, Amber Rose, is that her name?
Yeah, I was
The
like,
porn
did
star at
Amber
the
Rose
RNC?
work on you? Did she convince you? I
Yeah,
don't
so weird.
like what was the nail in the coffin for some
Yeah,
of
I
these
gotta
people?
say, I don't like that kind of stuff. Like, what is our party? It just feels like scum suckers. It feels like bottom of the barrel. Like we're so desperate to just get everybody. It feels very Jewy. Just suck in everything every vote we could possibly get. But then you neglect like the real spirit of the country, the real thing that built the country. Oh, let's put a porn star there. Look, even the porn stars like us. That's not a good thing, though.
Yeah.
Did you stop to think that that's not a good thing? Oh, here's a new Nicaraguan immigrant who could barely speak English, but she's legal. Yeah, I don't care. She could barely speak. She didn't build America. People who built America didn't care about that shit. It's just weird. I gotta say, to each their own. But
You know
that
what I
doesn't
think
feel
it
very
is,
American. It just feels very low class. Like you're sucking in everything demonic, dark. We'll take anything. Yeah.
It's kind of almost like a America is a victim of Trump right now because like Trump has set the standard for what everyone thinks a Republican president should be. I don't know what other Republican president would qualify.
He changed the game.
Yeah,
we
well, in a bad way almost.
2016, he changed the game.
I don't know if it's good. I think he changed it in like a bad way.
He overcompensated a little, maybe.
Yeah, I think he went a little far.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And now you have to be wild and crazy and say crazy comments about cat
Yes.
ladies to even be heard.
Dude,
You
that
know?
is so
You're
deep.
not wrong.
Yeah.
That is so deep because now it's going to be even harder to tell who the phonies are because Trump set a standard of like what Republicans should be. And now people are just going to try to mimic that as opposed to actually.
And if you're
appeal.
a true conservative and you
Yeah.
actually want the policies, you have to label yourself as a crazy person
Yeah,
and get behind
seriously.
this crazy dude, this gangster, essentially. You know that he has
Kanye running for
kind
president.
of look. Trump made himself look like a gangster. You know he
Yep.
did,
My
and now if you
boss.
want to be a conservative, you have to kind of defend this crazy guy.
Yeah, seriously. I'm with it, though. I got to say, just personally, I'm kind of with it that I'm tired of George Bush's and Bill Clinton's. Like, I need...
You want the convict president?
Yeah, I want the convict. Even fuck Reagan, dude. Like, I need a character in the
Yeah.
White House.
Yep.
But I'm just an artist, so I just demand that kind of thing. Like, you can't just run... You also need to entertain me now. And that's what Trump did in 2016. You can no longer just run my country if I'm, if I have anything to say about it.
You have
Wasn't
to
that
be
You
a
need to
line?
entertain me and be able to run the country. Because
comedian in chief.
Yeah, comedian in chief. You need to be able to, and that's the realist, isn't it? Again, in my opinion, the realist people they don't have to take themselves so seriously.
And wasn't that a line in Gladiator? I never saw the full movie, but it's like, "Are you not entertained?"
entertained?
And then you think Trump is such a breath of fresh air with this new demeanor nowadays. But then you think back, it's really been done before. It's the Teddy Roosevelt, the example of someone getting shot giving a speech, but he actually continued the speech.
Yeah.
So that was even more badass. Like we already
Oh, yeah,
did kind of
definitely.
have a gangster.
He was like, "I need
president
my shoes. I need
representing
my
us.
shoes."
Yeah,
That's true.
Okay,
He
so
did say
well
they
put.
didn't choose.
So we haven't seen it in a long time. Yeah, because I was almost sad. Everyone's like, Trump put his fist up and said fight. That was every speech at the RNC. He said fight. I'm like, yeah. If I got shot in the ear, I'd be like, anyway, our republic is in danger. What? Like,
Yeah,
you got
don't
shot
stop
in
the
ear.
speech. The bullets are done.
Yeah, get out of
The
town.
shooter's dead. All right,
And
let's
there was no
continue.
Secret Service to like attack you, shit. Yeah, like, all right, he's dead. We're good.
All right,
Moving
so,
on.
all right, get off me. Let me
Yeah,
continue my speech.
seriously.
I gotta say, my favorite part of the whole thing was watching every individual audience reaction that got in the background.
Yeah.
If you like
Yeah.
lock onto any one person,
Yeah, those
you
were
could-
some weird
There was
stuff.
some weird people with some weird reactions. There was some. I loved like the people in the back.
My
They were
favorite
doing
is
some
there's
weird-
there's
yeah.
this one bitch who just like a quarter millisecond she's filming. She like gets down her phone. Like, she wasn't afraid. She was the only one standing up and she had her phone ready to
There
go.
was this one
lightning
hippie guy that
reflex.
like
Weird.
There was this one hippie guy that like didn't even know it happened. Like everybody ducked, and this one hippie guy.
stoned?
He's just,
What?
yeah.
He's sticking out his head more.
People thought
He's like,
people
"What's
thought he
going
was
on?"
Suspicious. People thought he was suspicious because he didn't
was
react
just
at all.
stoned, dude. See, there's simple explanations. The hippie guy was stoned. The Karen has
Yeah,
just
like
been
Trump,
trained
man.
in like quick phone arts for 20 years now.
I-
Bitches be on their phone, am I right?
True, and I heard a funny take recently that the new 21st century we've evolved past fight and flight. It's fight, flight, or film
Ooh.
because it's like a freezing response.
Oh, that's something else.
Isn't that
That's
cool?
pretty cool. I like
that a lot. It's like a frozen
It's
response.
in between because freezing, you're freezing, flighting, you're flighting. But this is kind of in between, like, I'm pretty scared, but I want to catch this.
I need the lights.
later.
I need the likes, exactly.
I need the
How many
likes.
times did people film
I
themselves
need to
in
take
their own
advantage of
demise?
this. Yeah.
How many people film themselves getting killed or like in a
Let me
high-speed
profit off
chase and
this.
crashing?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
It's like,
But anyway, let's move on to the fourth biggest event that happened in July 2024, which is, do you guys agree that Biden dropped out? It was only a couple days after the RNC, Trump's big speech. These are one after the other. And this is where it gets super suspicious because any number of things from Biden dropping out, he didn't give a formal address. He just wrote a note. People say his signature was forged. It doesn't look anything
Yeah,
like his
saw that.
signature. And nobody's seen him for days. And I think just last night he finally gave an address and it looks crazy, dude.
he looks different.
It's filmed from like a low angle, mad fucking weird,
Ooh.
and he can't speak. It looks so AI, and there's all these memes. They've been going around for a while, but now it's really going off. that every couple days Joe Biden has a new face.
Yeah.
Have you seen these?
I've seen many versions. I've seen one with the butt chin and one without it.
You know what's crazy about that, Mitch? Out of all the conspiracy theories I've heard that we talked about on this show, this is the one I'm the most convinced about. Is that because we have the technology?
Joe's
The technology exists.
Yeah.
I just saw him like in a fashion show in another post the other day, you know?
Yeah.
That's right.
Where he's walking down the runway modeling clothing. That wasn't real. That wasn't him.
Oh,
If
yeah.
there's any conspiracy, I believe it's that, yes, you can make Joe Biden say anything you want with AI.
Hey, you want
I
to know what's
believe
funny
this.
too? I bet that was some poor Indian guy who made that.
They have so much
Let
money. They
alone
could.
what the CIA can do.
Yeah.
Their labs and tech databases.
Oh yeah,
True.
They
And
could use
God
the most
forbid
advanced-
The UFOs are
Yeah.
actually their property. Like they have stuff way beyond us. You know, just going into it.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I've seen stuff from back in the day where his face was changing, but now it's like changing day to day, or not even day to day, morning to night. The
They can make
weirdest
anybody
stuff.
say anything, and you know, like if they train if they train the AI enough on this show, they can make us say anything they want.
Yeah, weird.
Yep.
There's a lot
We
of
have a lot of new
cases.
episodes.
There's a lot of cases where like reality is stranger than fiction. You've
Yeah,
probably heard
dude,
that term
I'm
before.
feeling it now.
Because that was an entire plot of a Sherlock Holmes film years back, where a world leader or someone who a would-be assassin had some crazy plastic surgery done to his face, and he looked like a world leader of some like European nation at the time.
Wow.
So it's like, AI aside, what about just insanely good plastic surgery and like stem cell research
Yeah, true.
and film that person?
Masks.
Right.
Like-
The masks are super realistic
Yeah,
now.
They're really good.
Yep.
Spy Family, the dude does that all the time, rips it off.
We
That's always
are-
our
We are in the age where you really don't know if you can believe what you see
yeah.
on live TV.
People
Can't
still
believe
think
what you see,
Elvis
can't
is
believe what you
alive,
hear.
or like
Elvis is
Tupac.
alive. Woo. So Kamala might be the VP. That's what we get out of this. But how did it actually happen? Because this is where I stand on the situation. Where if Joe Biden were to die right now, Kamala would be president. That's the law. That's how it's always been.
Mm-hmm.
But Joe's not dead, or is he? As far as we know, as far as they've let the public know, Joe Biden is alive.
It's not the guy, according to your take on the debate. Mm-hmm. That's clearly not the candidate they want.
Yeah, exactly. And so how could Kamala just be thrown in to the race, the 2025 presidential race, when she didn't even get elected by the DNC? In fact, when she was against Joe Biden in the DNC, she got less than 1% of the vote. You guys remember that? She was the most hated person.
Yeah, no
and
one
all
liked
of
her.
her reviews have been so low ever since. Her approval rating. Everybody hates Kamala. Everybody knows she's fake. Maybe just fat black women or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think some stat at the time was like, there's never been a candidate that fewer black people have voted for
That
than
was so
Kamala
hated.
Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And her record with blacks isn't good if they actually knew what she did when she was
Didn't she lock
in
up a lot of
California.
people?
Yeah, District
like
Attorney
tons.
of California and some or
Minor
something.
marijuana offenses.
Yup, and kept them past their sentencing too for like labor.
Yeah, made them do
Weird
labor.
stuff.
Yeah.
Weird stuff, man. But blacks vote for Kamala. And there's all these pictures of her when she's younger, like very Hindu, my friend. She's not black. She's not black. What is she,
Jamaican at
like
best.
2% Jamaican? Dude.
Yeah, and family
It's
had
weird.
slaves.
But you do what you want. So a friend had a take the other day. It's just like, wait a second. Isn't this what they want? Like the fakest one? This is the fakest one. This is an Indian woman pretending to be black who sucked her dick all the way to the leader of the free world. And is that not the new American dream? We have to adapt, guys. And I think we really have to adapt because this is, don't let yourself become a boomer. The new boomers, okay? Millennials, Gen Zs, don't let yourself become the new boomer. And what that is not being able to adapt, not being able to change with the times. And you're going to have it even harder than the boomers. Think about it. When has time moved so fast? When has time moved faster than it has now? So I says, in the 1990s, Bill Clinton got in a lot of trouble because Monica Lewinsky was caught under his desk giving him a fat BJ. And I said, I have a new dream for the new American dream. I want to get a blowjob from the president in the Oval Office.
Yeah, you got to serve the people somehow.
That's right. Gotta serve the people. I gotta,
You're our employees after all.
Oh, man. All right. Well, with that, let's move on to something a little more esoteric, a little more deep. With Mitch Translates the Tao, chapter 41. The Tao, 41. The superior disciple hears of the Tao, and he diligently practices it. The mediocre disciple hears of the Tao, and it seems to exist, but then passes away. The inferior disciple hears of the Tao. He heartily laughs. If there was no laughter, it would not be sufficient as the Tao. Therefore it is said, the bright way seems dark. The way forward seems like the way back. The smooth way seems knotted. The highest virtue seems like a valley. The purest white seems disgraceful. The widest virtue seems insufficient. To establish virtue seems larcenous. To question reality is like a river. The great square has no corners. The great utility blooms late. The great sound hopes to become voice. The great form is without shape. The Tao is hidden and without name. The Tao alone lends virtue and makes complete. Man. Any first thoughts? Anything stick out to you? What's your favorite line?
This one just told me that I'm very anxious. Told me that I'm full of doubt, rather. Better word, doubt.
Was it how I read it, or was it the content?
It was no, the content.
Yeah,
the content. It struck me that these are all things that a doubtful person would do. Maybe not the first one, right? The disciples, they love it, but the mediocre and the doubtful, I'm like, oh man, that hurts. I think I might be one of those guys.
Yeah.
I'm definitely the mediocre disciple of the Tao.
I like
because it comes and goes kind of thing, and like it seems like I'm trying to take the smooth path by just like, the Tao's there, but I don't know it. It's very knotted, and it is a hard life if you don't fully like commit to it, or if you don't just laugh it off like the inferior disciple. Because both the inferior and the whatever the best superior disciple, they both think that their way is the best way.
Good.
That's really cool.
Because the inferior one's laughing about it. He's like, and he's still like, I'm having a good life anyways. I don't need any Tao kind of thing. But the one who knows that it's there.
I don't need no Tao.
But the one who knows that it's there and is kind of like, it's very biblical again with the lukewarm type of thing. That's a life of suffering right there. It's like you might as well just laugh it off rather than like try to accept the Tao and begin on that journey.
Wow, hot take, because I was actually kind of wondering about that myself. I like your explanation better than mine was going to be, because at least for the inferior, why does he laugh? I was going to ask, why does he laugh? But that makes sense. He just laughs. Ha! What are you talking about? And that's just as good.
Yeah.
In his world, that's just as good, quote unquote, as the superior. You could practice it diligently, or you could just laugh it off. It almost feels very similar. Almost like the worst place to be is the mediocre in a strange way. Dare I say, could be, maybe not. But what I liked about the mediocre is my constant lesson about just the Bible in particular, how it's always this story. If you read between the lines, it's this never-ending tale of experiencing God and then forgetting God.
Yeah.
Finding your grace and then just totally shunning the grace. Time and time again.
Wow.
As
It's
eternity
everywhere.
passes. It's crazy.
Every person in the book you could think of, even Jesus was tempted.
Yeah, every single time. It's weird. And I says, what is the Bible? You know, you could ask, what is the Bible trying to teach us about ourselves? You could maybe look no further than that. Maybe that's the full thing. That's just so hyper deep to me.
Yeah.
And if you look within yourself, you'll see that's you too. You could have a miracle happen to you, and next week you'll be like, it was nothing. You know, you could talk to God, and a month from now you'll be like, maybe it was the wind. I don't
see
know.
God
Did it
all the time.
I've seen God. God's here. Sure. My
Look at the
pastor
waves.
said so. Are you a superior disciple? I think when I heard philosophy, I'm like, what's going on here? Ooh, I like this. But then maybe someone hears exactly what I heard and they're like, you're a
Yeah, I think inferior to mediocre disciple might be the hardest jump to make because the inferior disciple doesn't know that he's a disciple at all.
100%. To even be open to it. And do we not see that in our day-to-day lives? It's so true. To even get somebody, because that's the nature of grace. The very beginning of grace is saying, I'm wrong.
Right.
That I know for sure is that. Oh, you know what? I'm not even going to say that. The very first step is saying, maybe I could possibly.
Somehow.
In some alternate universe, of course, potentially be misinformed, incorrect.
Should I admit I was wrong?
Should I admit I was wrong? You know, you have to even have a 1%, a mustard seed, a possibility that you could be wrong. And then I think grace, God opens up. It hit me the other day. I was talking to Clapp and I says, I was really realizing that God doesn't speak to those who know it all, because you know it all. Am I right?
I guess so. Yeah.
Think about it. Oh, if I'm going around every day, I know it all. I got this. Oh, let me tell you how it goes. Oh, God's like, oh, this guy gets it. This guy knows it all. Why would I speak to him? He already said to me that he knows it all.
That's a good point. And that's who Jesus liked to hang around with too. He wanted to be around the sinners to I don't know why, but
He liked to party.
if he really thought he could save them, I don't know. But that's a good point.
Those who need it most, perhaps, need the Spirit most. And as I try to teach, the one thing that if I could teach the world is that people never listen to your words. They see your actions. And you're only digging yourself deeper into hell the more you try to teach. The purest white seems disgraceful. That one really speaks to me because it's very clear, like the more you're trying to put on airs, the more you scrub your clothes, the more money you spent on those clothes. It's sort of just disgraceful. That was never what it is meant for.
I feel like this with music production.
The
more I try to make something, the less I make.
There it is.
It's just the more I try, the less I make. It's just been the whole theme of all my music production.
Yup. And you could buy the most expensive equipment, but it won't give you the spirit.
No.
It won't give you the moment.
And then when I don't care about making music, the most amazing stuff happens.
Yo!
It's always like this. It's always like this.
I had a joke. Must have been 8th grade. Years ago, I said I'd buy the nicest clothes, wear the freshest perfumes, and the bitches were repulsed by me. And every time I haven't showered in a week and I wore gym shorts, I would slay. I would get poon like you've never seen. It was the weirdest thing. It drove me crazy for years.
I make better music on that shitty $80 keyboard.
Yeah.
Like when I'm not
the
plugged in, when I'm not plugged
raw
into a
outsider
computer.
music. That's so
I
cool.
played better than
I think that phenomenon happens all the time, way more often than we think, but it takes the person to really, really notice it, kind of like grace or God's intervention or whatever. Because I've had that same experience where I will be at the gym in terrible clothing, in hand-me-downs from 3 generations of workout clothes.
Yep.
And I'm getting the women.
Yeah.
But when if I were to get like designer clothing,
Yeah.
I'd look like a gay.
It's weird. And that's what these women say they want. Oh, he's dressed nice, designer, oh, this and that. He's got money, blah, blah, blah. But you can't beat the spirit, just masculine energy.
Yeah.
Just being real, being
Can't
yourself.
fake it.
Can't fake it. And then we got, of course, this one's really cool. To question reality is like a river. That's kind of the last one of that sort of stanza there. To question reality is like a river. It's sort of like, I really like this one too, personally, because what this says to me is that the second you ask a question, especially about reality, the moment's gone. It's already downriver. You try to hold on, ask question, what is this water? And it already spills out of your hands. You ask, what is that boat? Hey, boatman. By the time you yell his name, he's already out of sight. Every time, that's the nature of questioning reality. It's like a river.
I agree. I know I'm making progress in life when I have those moments where the thoughts I'll see them come and go, but then part of me wants to keep lingering and asking questions about that thought, then I'm gone. But then for a moment, I'm like, wait, this isn't real life anymore. I'm already on to my next task, even if it's small, nothing tasks.
Something beautiful about that. That is like the light, and even that is the God that we let slip away sometimes. Because you're like, oh, what's that? That's nothing. That's just me. You know. I was just thinking the other day how, maybe you don't see progress in a while until you do see progress, and I was impressed the other day. I said, wow, I'm kind of like keeping calm in like a very tense situation, and like and not only that, I was feeling nothing about it.
And you didn't plan for it. It just was happening.
Boom, exactly. And I'd step back almost like as I'm a floating spirit above my body. And I'm like, who is this?
Just leaning on the window, my bad.
Who is this guy? Evan, get your... I'm not trying to clean that later.
He's a ghost. His
God,
arm was
Windex.
ghostly there. His ghostly
God.
spirit arm.
Jesus, I'm going to have to get Consuela to clean that up. The great square has no corners. The great utility blooms late. The great sound hopes to become a voice. That one was pretty cool. And the great form is without shape. Kind of a continuance.
It seems like there's this trend of whatever is wanting to always be something else. The sound is just a sound, and our voice, our language is the most advanced sound you could possibly... Because it really is just a sound at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But we are compelled to use these sounds for some reason.
Yeah, using of the sound makes it a voice, or like giving it a category, a context. Or perhaps you could say, I was thinking about the voice is reminiscent of the human being who speaks the voice. Is it a sound? Or is it me? Am I making the sound? If I could even briefly tell the story, I remember one time Poj was telling me about a trip he had where he was wondering who was speaking in his own head, right, Poj?
Yes, it was
What are these? Who's even saying this?
the personalities of myself were running away.
Yeah, ooh.
The Poj, the guitarist.
Oh, the different personalities.
The personalities were slipping away, and I said, "Oh my God, I'm going to disappear."
Yeah.
Who's left?
Who's
gonna stay here?
Who's left?
speaking
It
my
is
internal
I!
monologue. Yeah. And then it is I. I was
Just
like,
one
who is
guy
that?
waving alone
Who
in the
the
room.
fuck is that? Yeah, the one concept being unstable. We yearn for the other, the masculine and the feminine. You could hear a sound, but God, wouldn't it be cool for just a moment, just one lifetime, that sound wasn't a sound, it was a voice. And in fact, it was a human voice. And in fact, that human voice is me. Could be defined as I.
And that it could be interpreted, and a sound could come back to me.
Oh,
and I could trick myself into thinking that sound that comes back to me is not me.
is not even I. Ooh.
It's another thing that I created and made echo back to me.
Damn! I don't know much about politics, but I know the great leaders of our world need to watch themselves some ancient wisdom. And maybe you will too. Catch us next time.